What is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. As you guys know by now, if you haven't figured out already, I love sniping. Sniping is my go-to in Warzone. I like to think that I'm one of the best snipers out there, but for all of you guys that have been in my stream, in my comments, Twitter, Instagram, whatever, some people have been asking me for what the best sniper is, or like the difference between the HDR and the AX50 and why one's better than the other, what attachments do I use, what attachments should you guys be using. And so today's video, I hope to tackle all of that and answer some of, if not all of, those questions. If this video helps you guys out in any way, shape, or form, please be sure to hit the like button and comment down below something that you found surprising about this video, because it may be a little surprising, the setup that I run. Follow me on Twitch up in the top over there. You see kind of my finger over that way? Try and draw a little line. It's just @Skids. The link will be down in the description below as well. That way you can see me do all this stuff live. And without further ado, guys, let's just get right into it. To edit your classes, you can go into Warzone or multiplayer. So I primarily play Warzone now, and mainly I just use like one class for multiplayer if I need to go unlock something. Like when I had to go unlock Ram 7, I had an FAL class, whatever, that's irrelevant. If you go over here into weapons and edit loadout, my sniper class is all the way down in custom class 10. We go down here, and first off, the first thing you're gonna notice, I run the HDR. I believe and statistically believe that the HDR is better than the AX50. Damage range is better. You get more one-shot kills at longer range. The accuracy is pretty comparable. They're pretty much the same thing. But yeah, as you can see here, the range is worse. The damage, maybe like blunt damage if you're up close, is a little bit better, but we're more worried about damage range because most of the snipes that I'm taking in Warzone are between 200 and 400 or plus meters. In multiplayer, maybe the AX50 is better when you're sniping down little alleys or defending a domination flag or something like that. But the HDR is going to be a lot better in these circumstances because the range is extended. And if you're looking at some of these other stats, I'm just going to highlight this because it says stats compared to HDR. That's what I have chosen. The control is a little bit better. That's not really, like, control, mobility, we don't care about that kind of stuff. Most of the time when you're running around, you're going to switch to a different weapon and then just kind of post up. When you're sniping in Warzone, 99% of the time you want to be either crouched or prone because of the sway. And you guys should know this, but if you're crouched, you have less sway than when you're standing, and if you're laying down, you have basically no sway at all. The control is, it's better, I guess, on the AX50, but to me, I get over it. I really don't notice that much of a difference. The main thing I do notice is the damage and the range, and even the accuracy. It says here's a little bit underdeveloped, but again, that's marginal. And so secondary does not matter. I'm actually in the process of making a video about why overkill should not be used, but I'll save all of that for a different video. And if it's published, I'm gonna have a link in the description and a little card probably popping up so that you guys can check that out, because you pick this in a loadout, and by the time you get a loadout, you better have a different gun already established. And then the perks, so the perks can be a little bit flexible, except for Ghost. You need to be running Ghost 110% of the time. You need to be running Ghost, invisible to UAVs and heartbeat sensors, which are everywhere in Warzone. And it knowledge is power in a battle royale. And if people can find you, if people know you're in a building, if people know you're gonna be up on this hill, you're done for. You're already at a disadvantage. So you have to run Ghost if you're gonna be sniping. And so perk 1 is where you can get a little bit of flexibility. So a vast majority of the time I'm going to be running cold-blooded because of the fact that you are primarily sitting still or sitting pretty still when you're sniping. And so if people can pick you up on a thermal when you're sitting still, you're just done for. Like, they are going to be able to win a sniper battle more often than not, because if they have cold-blooded and you don't, they're going to see you like that, and then you're going to be trying to find them. Next thing you know, you're downed on the ground because they got the headshot off on you. So in terms of snipe battles, cold-blooded is going to be a big key for you. I mean, the more often I talk about it, the more I think that's 100% what you have to do. But I can see an argument for EOD. EOD will give you reduced damage to explosives like C4s, RPGs, all of that stuff. but you can probably snap that on a different class and run EOD. Most of the time you're not going to be running into situations where you need to be explosive resistant if you're going to be sniping. One thing that I could see going on is if this has happened to me a lot. So I get my sniping class, first loadout, we buy a loadout, and then I have Cold-Blooded Ghost and usually Shrapnel here. We'll talk about perk 3 in a second. But if I find another loadout along the way, then I'll probably pick a class with EOD and an SMG, like my MP7 class. So that way I have an MP7 with EOD for close range engagements. I have a sniper with Ghost for long range engagements and camping late game. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much that right there. So I can see an argument for both, but I'm going to vouch for Cold-Blooded. I even tried running EOD in a couple of my sniping classes the last couple of days to see if I could get away with it, but more often than not, I was actually starting to lose more sniper battles than I'd like to admit. Cold-Blooded is definitely the move for a sniping class. So far we have Cold-Blooded, Ghost, and perk 3 is kind of up in the air. So I like to have Shrapnel because I run C4s in all my classes to counter vehicles. We'll talk about that here in a second. Then you could do Battle Hardened. Battle Hardened I would not be upset with. You're immune to like flash, EMP, stuns, gas, all that kind of stuff. That's a good one. Let's see. The only thing I could see is, you know, maybe running Amped. Third perk seems to be kind of up in the air, but Shrapnel is what I like to do. So, you know, I did review so far. We got HDR, which I guess I haven't even talked about my attachments yet. Wow, that's the most important part of this video. Okay, so first of all, you'll see I do not have 3 things: a laser, an underbarrel, or ammunition. I used to run the 9-round mag, but then I realized that it's basically just taking up a slot. You don't need extending mags on a sniper because when you're sniping, you should be able to duck behind some cover and reload and give yourselves 5 to 10 seconds. It's fine if you give up 5 seconds to reload. There's a lot of other things you can increase on the sniper. And first of all, you'll see down here my class mods. So if you see, boom, I have so much in terms of range increase, accuracy increase, control increase a little bit, and then mobility, you see, like I said, it does not matter at all. So if one of the downsides of picking an attachment is decreased mobility, 100% go for that. I mean, it's a-okay. You just switch your gun and you're running out with an SMG or pistol or something. You're gonna be fine. First off, let's start with the perk. And the perk I like to do focused, and that gives you increased flinch resistance. So the big thing with focused is if you are getting shot by like an M4 or an FAL or some sort of AR long range, you're gonna be aiming down sights and your scope is gonna be jumping up all over the place. Focus allows you to take less flinching in those situations, so you're able to steady your snipe scope and pop them off like that. If you don't have focus, don't run a perk. Now that I think about it, what you can run instead is probably the 9-round mags. So let's move on up to the stock. So I run the most powerful stock. Gives you stability and aim. It says aim walking steadiness, which I don't really use, but the aiming stability is really nice. These, like, if you don't have the champion, do the FTAC Hunter Scout to give you increased aiming stability. And you see here, negative aim walk movement speed. That's fine. And then the optic. Okay, the optic is the biggest thing that I want to push and I want to talk about. You want to run the thermal sniper scope as soon as you get it. Being able to see people in a thermal is 10 times easier at range. And then once you unlock it, boom, hit the thermal dual power scope. Barrel and muzzle, we're gonna run here. So you see there's 3 different options for the barrel. I have the first one unlocked because increased damage range, bullet velocity, recoil control. The recoil control, that's whatever. I mean, it's a bolt action sniper. You have a lot of time. Increased damage range, yes, yes, yes. Increased damage range, I cannot harp on it enough. In Warzone is massive, absolutely massive. And then these two, they just give you so much worse, like so many less things. There's so many more cons than pros. I can't talk right now. So many more cons than pros, but the 26.9, nice. HDR Pro is the way to go. And then in terms of the muzzle, this can be a little bit interesting until you get the monolithic suppressor. Once you unlock the monolithic suppressor, 100% go for it. A little bit of reduction in sound, but it also increases damage range, which most of the time does not happen with a suppressor. Suppression is nice in Warzone, so if you want to run the tactical suppressor until you unlock the monolithic, I support that idea. Bipod, I don't go for. I don't think it's necessary. And then laser's just dumb. Just don't even think about running a laser on your sniper. That's just ridiculous. And then, yeah, so to top it all off, guys, sorry, this is kind of a little bit longer video than I expected, but I wanted to go in depth with you on all of these things, just so that you guys didn't have any questions. But if you do have questions, leave a comment down below, and I'll be sure to answer it as soon as possible, or hit me up on Twitter. It's _skids. But as I talked about earlier, lethal C4, great for countering cars, great for countering any sort of vehicles. Since you're not going to be running an RPG, then you're going to need some sort of explosive counter to cars. Unfortunately, that's a situation that we're in right now with the Warzone meta. Maybe we'll be able to change this to a Semtex here in the future, but I don't really know. I can't tell you what it's going to be like in the future. But until now, run the C4, and then if you have shrapnel, you have 2 C4s that you're able to go for. And then heartbeat sensor. It seems to be a no-brainer. A lot of people don't run heartbeat sensors, unfortunately, though. But if you look at all of this stuff, maybe smoke grenade if you're playing like plunder or something. But then that's a whole nother class setup. You're allowed to run overkill and plunder. Heartbeat sensor, 100%. Knowing where people are is the greatest advantage in Warzone. Being able to clear a building because you know there's people in there, you know where they are, yada yada yada. So there you guys have it. Like I said, a little bit longer video than I was expecting. But I really wanted to get in depth with you guys on this. If you guys did enjoy any part of this, or did learn anything new, or you're going to take any part of this into your class setup, please leave a like down below. It supports the channel a lot more than you would imagine. Comment down below with any questions, comments, or concerns. If you disagree with anything I said, comment it, and I will talk my point out with you. I'd love to get in a conversation about it with you. Any questions that you have about the setup, about any attachment versus a different attachment, comment it down below. I'll be sure to answer that as soon as I can. I usually respond to YouTube comments like right away. I'm after that stuff like none other. But yeah, be sure to follow me on Twitch as well, twitch.tv/skids, to watch me snipe some kids live. And that's all I got for you guys. I will see you on the flip side.
Yeah, inspire you is what I'm trying to do. Man, I came a long way from a couple views. It don't matter about your size of shoes or what you going through. If I could do it, you could do it too.